Hello my friends, and welcome back to the rabbit hole, and welcome to a favorites and fails video. I know, you never see these on this channel. I wanted to take a moment and tell you why I don't do a lot of this type of video. As you all know, I mostly talk about skincare on this channel, and I think that because I have a difficult skin type, it means so much to me that my favorites are truly my favorites. I take favorites maybe too serious, probably too seriously. So what happens is my favorites don't really change all that much. I finally made a top 10 list in the Shop My app. So if you want to know my top 10 current skincare products, I will link that in the description box below, and I'm going to try to remember to keep track of that. Though again, it doesn't change very much. So that makes it a little funny when I have, a product in 11th place. 12th place. Those just end up not talked about enough, so I'm trying to remedy that by doing a favorites video today. I also wanted to let you know I try really hard to make sure that this is not a video of just my absolute current favorites. Oh, that's so tempting to do. That is so tempting to do, but it's not that helpful. Yeah, this is from Monday's video. I talked myself into buying it in the Yes Style sale I was talking about. Oh, I feel like I love it, but I don't want to commit to it yet. It's too early. We have two categories today. We have skincare and makeup, and again, it's not going to be a long list. Starting with the category of skincare, I need to give some attention to these two products right here. This is the Experiment Mask, and this is the Do Forever Eye Mask. For a very long time, I thought that I didn't like these kinds of products. I liked the idea of them. These are silicone masks where you can put whatever you want on your skin. You put these silicone masks on, and it keeps the product locked in your skin, so you get more from your skincare. But I didn't like most of the options. I felt that they were thick, and it was just a really uncomfortable sensation. And that's why these two have to be on this favorites list. The Experiment one is so thin, it comes in two different sizes, and it turns out that was a lot of my initial problem. I had very inexpensive silicone masks that were just too big, and wow, I actually tried to use one of those the other day, and that's when it really hit me just how much of a difference this Experiment mask is. It's night and day. It is absolutely night and day in terms of the difference on me. This is so much more well constructed. It is so much more comfortable. And it's the same with the Do Forever Eye Masks. These are super thin, really comfortable. I have a lot I want to say about Do Skincare. I've even filmed a video about them in which I just raved and raved about how incredible this brand is. I filmed this video about a month ago. I went to upload it, and then I discovered there's a problem with Do Skincare. Stock issues. Yes, stock issues. These same products that I wanted to tell you about how much I love, it seems Do Skincare does not know when they're going to be back in stock. These are in stock. I have the old packaging, but these are in stock, and of course the Experiment is. If you're interested in this brand, I would recommend you watch the Urban Outfitters website. They are always running some kind of sale. They just did another 30% off. I'm sure they'll do one in the future, and they carry that brand. Next up, this is my second time buying this product. I'm about probably halfway through it now, and I've hit a point where I've realized this might actually be one of my favorite cleansers. This is the Tula Acne All-Star 3-in-1 Acne Cleanser, Mask, and Spot Treatment. This has 3% sulfur in it as an acne treatment. Sulfur is one of those ingredients where I feel like it's not that talked about for acne care. We talk about salicylic acid, we talk about benzoyl peroxide, but we don't talk about sulfur, and maybe, just maybe, that's because she is stinky. Sulfur does not smell good. But the reason I love this is because it is such a gentle acne cleanser. Benzoyl peroxide works in a wash-off formula for me, but even then, it has betrayed me a few times. If my barrier is compromised, I have to be really fast about washing it off, or I will watch my skin start turning red. Whereas I know this always works for me. Sulfur isn't harsh in the way that both salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide are. But the other reason is, it's a 3-in-1. We never believe it. We have trust issues. We have trust issues from shampoo and conditioner all in one with this hair. And sure enough, it turns out I don't really use this as a spot treatment. but I do love this. I love this as a mask. And it's so funny because sometimes people ask me to review more masks. I don't review them because I don't use them. I use sheet masks all the time, but the wash-off style of mask, I just never remember to use them. But I remember to use this because I'll start washing my face and then I'll go, no, you know what? Let me do a mask session. Just leave it on for 5 minutes or so, and it works so well for me. It really does help with breakouts, even if my skin is irritated. So yeah, it's time for me to admit that I really like this. I really like this product. Tula has been a very hit or miss brand for me. This is my favorite Tula product. I absolutely love this Regelica essence. This is the Microbiome and Vitamin C Immunity Support Essence. I talked about this recently. I am absolutely blown away by it, and this is now my vitamin C product. I feel like this is such a thoughtful formula. So they used sodium ascorbyl phosphate, magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, both vitamin C derivatives that are much more gentle, and sodium ascorbyl phosphate is the vitamin C derivative that has studies looking at its effects on acne. If you're new to this channel, get ready to hear me say that a lot because that is my favorite vitamin C derivative. But it also has sea buckthorn in it, an incredible repairing ingredient, and it has interesting postbiotic ingredients. One of them is Micrococcus lysate, which is also a restorative postbiotic ingredient. So it feels to me like it's an essence that is made to be repairing. We see a lot of those in K-beauty, but this one has such a different approach, such different ingredients. Now, if you saw my try-on, I talked about how I know this has fragrance, but it seems to be working really well for me. I wondered if it was not essential oil ingredients. They wrote me. I'll put this up on the screen so you all can see as well. I totally understand the reasoning behind adding fragrance. You know, it's really easy to get caught in the bubble of YouTube's mentalities around fragrance where it's bad no matter what. But it is true that some ingredients can really smell bad. Have we all not tried a vitamin C serum? Have we not? So they say they use 0.2% fragrance content and it is not essential oils. See? My skin had already told me that. And let me not forget to tell you about my 25% off discount code this time because that is an incredible discount that brings this down to about $45 for 5.4 fluid ounces. I have a couple of K-beauty products to share next. One is a very unexpected favorite and one is a very unexpected fail. So first up, these gluconolactone and Betula Alba Juice cleansing pads. I got these in my Style Korean haul a while ago, and I was so bummed when I first got them in because one thing that I look for in a micellar water, whether it's in the form of a micellar water or in the form of cleansing pads, is I want to just be able to run it across my face and call it a day. I like this step to be easy for when I'm in a rush, for when I'm camping, and they recommend you rinse these off. And I always believe that whatever a company recommends is what you should do. A lot of micellar waters say you can skip the rinsing step. These say don't. So I went, okay, I'm probably not gonna like these. I have in fact liked these. Sometimes I like to have a lot of fun doing my makeup, make some intricate, bold looks. This removes them. Now the only thing that is almost a negative, but also not at all a negative, is that there's so much liquid in here that when I run out of these pads, I'm gonna have to put more pads in. And now that I'm really at the bottom of this, I'm also having to squeeze them. So it's just too much. It's too much liquid in the pads at the bottom, but I'd rather have that than the opposite. So yeah, very much an unexpected favorite. Gluconolactone is PHA. That is an exfoliating ingredient that is much larger in comparison to glycolic acid, lactic acid. It is a very gentle exfoliant. Now for my fail. I am so bummed. This is the Mary & May Premium Ida-Benone Blackberry Complex Essence Mask. I was so excited about getting these, but the very first time I opened these, I went, oh my gosh, it smells exactly like a perfume. This is always the nuance with fragrance. Not only do you have a very big difference between essential oils and synthetic fragrance, but you also have the intensity of fragrance. I think this is why products can work with fragrance in them, even for those of us with sensitive skin. Have you ever been surprised that a product with fragrance went just fine for you? But then you try another one and it's a disaster. I've actually tried to use a lot of these, but I've noticed that consistently when I use these, my barrier is a little upset with me. I've had a little more breakouts than usual. These are not working for me. I'm sure they'll be fine for some people. It seems like a case of my allergy strikes again. But yeah, sadly, these are not working out for me. I don't know why Mary & May added fragrance to this. They have a lot of products that don't have fragrance, and I love them. This is perplexing. Because one thing I can tell you with Mary & May is I would suspect it is, in fact, essential oils. Let's talk about a few makeup products. I want to start this section with some olives. No, they're not makeup products. We just have to have this conversation because far too many people think that all olives are the same. And y'all need to try these Castelvetrano olives. Don't care who makes it, that's irrelevant. You need to try this type of olive. It is so good. But also an olive foundation. Okay. Yes, the new About Face Performer Skin Focused Foundation. I'm wearing this again today. Not only do they make an olive shade that turns out to be a perfect match for me, but this is a $22 foundation, and the way it looks and the way it wears reminds me of so much more expensive foundations. I don't know how this brand did it. Not only did they come out with this incredible formula, this incredible shade range, they kept it $22. Here's everything I love about this. So this is supposedly a buildable medium coverage. And it is. I actually feel like I've been wearing this more as light coverage, just kind of almost the way I use the Merit complexion stick. With this system, you can just kind of dab it wherever you want, blend it out, and its finish is not matte, but not dewy either. I will say if you're maybe very oily, you might not love this because it has a bit of a glow to it. But in just such a pretty way, I think normal to dry skin types are probably going to love this. They're also saying it has blue agave and wintergreen and chlorella. I do like chlorella for skin benefits. I don't really think about that when buying foundation. I just want a nice foundation. The skincare routine is done. I just want a nice foundation. There is one con. One. And I want to tell you about it. For as much as I love this, I do wish this was better. When you pull this out, you kind of have to be careful or it could splatter. I have splattered a few things, let me tell you. One more thing, I want to talk about the applicator. So it is like a big concealer. I can't remember who it was that I saw say this, but somebody here on YouTube pointed out that we use concealer. All concealer has some kind of applicator. They all have an applicator that you dip and you put on your skin. Why do we feel funny about this type of applicator with the foundation? And listen, I do too. I had to get over it with this and had to, trust in the preservatives in products. That's what they're there for. I do have a fail though. I wanted this so badly. The CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. I wanted this because I fell in love with the Rose Inc one. Now, I've never tried the Chanel. This is supposedly a dupe for the Chanel Le Beige foundation. Foundation, skin tint, you know what I mean. This is $21.49, which no matter how much you put .49 after 21, it's still 22. It's 22. It's 22, CoverGirl. It's the same price. These are the same price. We are not going to sit here and argue about 51 cents. Some countries don't even have pennies. I've never tried the Chanel to compare, but I loved the Rose Inc version. I really liked that. Once I got the hang of it, I feel like with this product category, people will gravitate towards a brush, a sponge, or your fingers. I think one of those is going to work best for you. For me, it ended up being a brush. That's what did it for me. The idea is there, the beads are there, but it's just not breaking up properly. I'll put up a clip so you can see that my struggle was in getting this to apply evenly because the beads don't break up properly. You end up with kind of a patchy application. And also be careful with this if you have dehydrated skin. Again, we don't talk enough about the difference between dehydrated and dry skin. Dehydrated skin is something that can happen temporarily, while dry skin is a type. You are always dry. You can sometimes be dehydrated, whether you're dry, oily, or normal. Be careful with this if you're dehydrated. My skin was just a little dehydrated the other day, and I noticed that what happened is the essence part of this immediately soaked into my skin. My skin was craving that hydration. That made it even worse. So that left behind the balls on the surface of my skin. What an absolute, I washed it right off. What a mess. We have got to talk about Alter Ego's most recent release. Alter Ego sent me this Dreamgaze palette a little early, so mine looks a little different. Take note of that, we'll come back to it. This is the palette I'm wearing today. This is a dupe of Natasha Denona's pastel palette. I always wanted that palette, but it had mixed reviews. This is why Alter Ego is just shocking me lately. They are flooring me lately. This is a pastel palette. This is a pastel palette. Inspired, we will say, by Natasha Denona's pastel palette. And yet, I'm pretty sure this might be better. I mean, pastel eyeshadow, it's hard to formulate. I almost feel like what Alter Ego might be doing is they get inspired by a palette, and then they seem to take their sweet time developing a perfect formula. They have been knocking it out of the park lately. And not just that, the reason my palette looks a little different is because they now made it so that these are fully magnetic. You can rearrange them to your heart's content. So I did. I really like to put all of my mattes together and have all of my shimmers kind of in a color coordinated row. That's how my brain works. I can appreciate the beauty in the chaotic color arrangements that most palettes come in, but this is what I prefer. It's like the Meraki palette that I raved about in our last Ulta video. Yeah, it's exactly like that. I like that design. That design inspires me, and I have an easier time making sense of it and translating it into an eye look. I'm having so much fun with this palette that I cannot put it down, and as such, I can tell you more about the pros and cons. The blue shades in here, the bright reds, the yellow, they're so high pigment. No fallout, they blend beautifully. I will say the purple leaning shades are a little weaker. You will have to build those up, which is pretty much the nature of purples. And there is a duochrome that is a white to pink shift. That one requires the most work, but I think it is meant to be more of a topper anyway. I felt that spraying my brush with that shade gave me the best results. But I am so impressed. These last all day. They last all day, and have I even told you the price of this? $22. $22, you get all those shadows, you get a mirror in here. This is the most unflattering angle I can come up with. And I do have a 10% off code. I'll put it up on the screen if you are interested. I am blown away. I have a blush I want to share with you. This is the Joocyee Blush that I shared in a past YesStyle haul. Most of the blushes you will find on the YesStyle website are probably going to not have a lot of pigment. This is such a gorgeous little design. It's a surprisingly hard pressed blush. It actually feels a lot like Clinique's. This has become my go-to blush because, as I always say, I do default to powder blushes. And this is the shade 02 Raspberry Rum. I am so floored by it, and it's so beautiful. I can't believe I got this for around $10. It's a little smaller, but it's so pretty both on and really enjoyable to use. I like this brand a lot. Apparently they are the sister brand to Judy Doll, which makes sense because I like Judy Doll as well, but this feels like an elevated experience. To end this video, let me tell you about how I became mad at myself. Do you understand how many lip products have been released just in the past 30 days? And it's so many that I realized I can't pick a favorite. I can't do it. I haven't used any of them long enough to possibly consider them for favorites. But I did realize I almost always grab the same lip liners. So I clearly have favorite lip liners. And it is these Buxom Power Lines. These are so easy to work with. The one I'm wearing today is Dangerous Dolly, so I thought that it might be kind of too large of a tip initially, but it's really not, and because you get a brush on the other side, it's so easy to blend these out. They're creamy, they glide beautifully, because one of my pet peeves with lip liner, or eyeliner for that matter, is if it drags. I cannot stand that, no way. They glide, they stay all day. Look, my lip gloss wore off ages ago, but I still have this lip liner on. This is so funny. I was just noticing that one of these says Shiseido on it, and the other says Bioreus. Is it two different companies making these different shades? They both say made in Germany. Wonders never cease. Hush Hush Henna is probably the most popular shade. I'm pretty sure it's their most popular. And my friends, that's it. We did a favorites and fails video for the first time in forever. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any current favorites or fails. We all gotta alert each other about the fails out there. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next time.